Hi, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Welcome back to the channel. Shout out to everybody. Lord have mercy. We have a docket, a pretty interesting docket today. Now, hold up, y'all. Hold up, because listen, I got to do the thing that I always have to do, which is share my live, let the people know that we're live. I don't know why I always do this, and I need to get better at it. Shout out to everybody. Oh my goodness. I hope you guys are doing well. It is December 3rd. It is the birthday week. Yes. And tomorrow's the birthday. Hey, we live now. Let me let the people know that we're live, y'all. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button. 1 second. Oh my God, where's my screen at? Here it is. I'm setting everything up, y'all. 1 second. Welcome. Welcome. Shout out to everybody. Happy holidays. We live now. My goodness. Last night was an intense live. Let me just say that. We're going to start right there. Last night was an intense live. With that Rebecca K. Park case. We were talking about it. We didn't get to finish the interview. We're going to finish it today, hopefully. But before we get there, I want to talk about Laura Owens. For those that may not be familiar with that case, we're going to talk about that real quick because we have an update. Laura Owens has pled, and we're going to talk about that. And apparently, Celeste Rivas' family made an appearance, y'all. She made an appearance. They all did. I don't know. They all. I think they were all spotted. They made an appearance. And there's been several pictures. And I have a feeling that people are maybe staking outside their houses or watching them in different areas and whatnot. But this is Celeste Rivas' family. Apparently, there's pictures out there of them. Thank you so much, Flojo, for the $4.99. Thank you. Yes. Happy birthday. And shout out to our new member. Is it I cannot say something Bird. I'm gonna call you Bird 65. Shout out to you, my love. I'm just like, I don't want to murder the name. Thank you so much for becoming a member, supporting the channel. And thank you, Flojo. Yes, tomorrow, mañana is the birthday. Yes. Thank you, James. That's right. Birthday Eve's wishes. I love being 21 again and again and again and again. We're gonna be 21 again and again and again and again. Yo, last year, let's take a little detour. Last year, some of my members that have been following me for a while might remember this, but y'all remember when I fell on ice? And I used to slip on ice, it is what it is. But I swear to God, when you fall on ice, when you're in like 40, 39, 40, 40s, early 40s, you literally do not recover like you're 21 anymore. Like it's like, no, you gonna be sore. You are gonna, your hip is gonna hurt. That's what's gonna happen. So that's how I felt. I was like, oh man, I know. Anyways, let me stop. So we will be 41 tomorrow. Yes. Shout out to us. We share birthdays. Yes. Do we? Somebody sent him. Well, happy birthday to you too. Somebody sent in my comments that they were like, it's funny how I am literally following everybody because that person has like a birthday month in December. They're also a Sagittarius. They're like, I didn't realize that I follow my own kind. No idea. That's crazy. That's right. I bounce back like a deflated basketball. When you fall and slip on ice, when you're like literally getting there, it's like, yeah, you don't feel this. I don't feel like that young, you know, chicken anymore. I don't. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Yes. Thank you guys. All right. Well, shout out to everybody. Thank you so much for the birthday wishes. That really means a lot to me. Yes. Thank you so much for the party fund. Oh my God. Thank you. Happy birthday party funds for you. Thank you. And then I rock. Thank you. Daphne, I hope you have a wonderful birthday. Thank you. I love your channel. Thank you. Well, we going to have a little party, okay? So we going to celebrate because we have to, all right? So I don't know if it's going to be this weekend or during the week or maybe tomorrow. I'm not really sure, but we will definitely have some music, how we do it on this channel. Okay, welcome. That's right. I should put some Ben Gay in my stockings. You're right. Some Crocs and Ben Gay. I refuse to drive a minivan. I really do. Shout out to the people that drive minivans, but I refuse to drive a minivan. That, my friends, would be like me really giving up. I can't do minivans. But shout out to everybody that drives one. I just can't do the minivans. Welcome everybody. Did you? Ooh, that's crazy. I'm sorry. See, I'm telling you, there's changes in your body. You definitely feel them. I definitely felt them. All right. Shout out to everyone. No, the Crocs will make you fall. That's right. Let's talk about, and let's move on because we definitely have a full agenda. These three are going to take us a minute. We're going to talk about Laura Owens. All right. So, guys, for those that don't know this case, because I know some of you guys do not know what is this case about. All right. Laura Owens is a woman from Arizona. All right. And she is accused of several things. She faked pregnancies in order to obtain, at least it's being said, obtain child support, money, get a hold of certain men that she wanted to be with. She basically claimed that y'all know the show The Bachelor. There's a Clayton Echard, right? This is the guy that kind of confronted it all, but she had other victims before Clayton. She was basically saying that these men were impregnating her. She was placing false restraining orders on these men, making all kinds of allegations. She was claiming to be pregnant but with twins, faking court documents, faking sonograms and pregnancies and all kinds of stuff. Listen, she gave the guy head. That's what happened. And you cannot get pregnant. Last time I checked, I asked Jeeves.com when I was like 16, 13. I said, can you get pregnant with oral sex? And Jeeves said, you cannot get pregnant with oral sex. That's the encounter that these two had. And so somehow, of course, this man, Clayton, he's like, what? I don't remember us doing anything that would have caused you to get pregnant other than that. And so, yeah, that's what happened. So she ran this fraud, took it all the way to child support court, took it all the way out there. And eventually, the court ruled against her, and they found that she perjured herself. They found that she faked documents. They found that she deceived the court. And guess what the court did in Maricopa County? Because they don't play. The pink handcuff, the people with the pink handcuffs, that Maricopa County, yeah, that one. They said, girl, you deceived the court and you victimized this guy, and she's victimized others. Please note that she's got a track record since 2014. They said, we're referring you to the prosecutor's office. So what did the prosecutor's office said? We are charging you. We're charging you. Yes, we are. So in order for Laura to have, supported her claims of being pregnant, she did pregnancy videos, ultrasound images. All of these were fake. And she was charged with 14 felonies, fraudulent schemes, forgery, perjury, multiple counts, tampering with physical evidence, taking the identity of another, okay, and theft by extortion and accusations of a crime. So this is a very interesting case that literally started with a woman that had a crazy, like a track record of just portraying herself to be a victim of these men. Yes. And making it seem like she was completely abused and all these kinds of things, y'all. It's a lot of work to get there. This woman is not well, and neither is her family, honestly. She deceived a lot of people for many years. Let's just say that. But you never, if it wasn't for The Bachelor, good-looking Clayton Echard, he said it. He's like, this is what's happening. I'm being accused of impregnating her, and we didn't even do it. Like, how does that happen, right? So far, this is what we have so far. So in 2025, the grand jury indicted Laura Owens on 7 felony counts, but then they added more, okay? So then November 2025, the prosecutor filed additional charges, 7 more that tied to a second alleged victim. So this is where the 14 is coming. And Laura Owens, went to court yesterday. That's who we have on our screen. And she pled not guilty. She said, I am not guilty. I said, oh my God, girl, hold up. Let me see. Got to move my camera here so it's not in my screen. And she's got a new lawyer. So this is Laura. Let's watch a little bit.
CR 2025-007905. That is the supervening indictment. Can I get appearances, please?
Morning, Your Honor. Nicole Northup on behalf of Ed Leiter for the state.
Thank you.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jeffrey Swirsky appearing with Ms. Owens as to both matters. She is present in the courtroom.
Ms. Owens, can I get your name and date of birth, please?
Laura Owens, 5/14/1990.
All right, thank you. So on the older case, we're here for a status conference as Mr. Swirsky was appointed to represent Ms. Owens. There has been a supervening indictment filed. I provided a copy to Mr. Swirsky. Mr. Swirsky, did you have the opportunity to review that with your client?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Did you want me to conduct a not guilty arraignment today on her behalf?
I would, Your Honor.
All right. Do you waive a reading of the charges and her rights?
Yes, we will waive formal reading and enter a plea of not guilty as to all charges.
All right. We'll enter a plea of not guilty on her behalf. I need to set.
Not guilty. The audacity, y'all. You know, it was like the internet people that found out how she faked some of these pregnancy sonograms and stuff like that. Not guilty. It's like the audacity. She says she's not guilty. Okay. Like that's going to be, and by the way, I think her family. So her family, I think her dad was like this famous radio personality. That poor man, he's not doing well. Filed for bankruptcy. I'm sure that all of this between the civil, and all these cases all together have cost them a lot of money to support their daughter. But this woman literally talks to her family any kind of way. She yells at her mom. She's just very entitled, very much like, I'm sorry. And not that I came from that era where, I got my ass beat. Okay. Just please note that. So that's why I'm very careful about how I talk to the people around me. Right. You could tell that they did a lot of like coddling to her and what's the word? We're not going to let you, we're not going to teach you lessons. We'll rescue you and save you. So every time she would get in trouble, she gives that like parents never really let her sit on her shit so that she can actually learn because the audacity to go about deceiving people in such a fraudulent way, deceiving the court. When you can go as far as deceiving the court, that tells me everything I need to know. You do not know boundaries. You don't know morality when you can deceive a court. It's giving that. Like, it's giving that. When she yelled at her mama on that body cam footage, she was freaking out, yelling at her mom, like her mom put her in that situation while they were raiding her house. I said, no, listen, tomorrow I'll be 41, but you'll never see the day where I'm yelling at my mom. Okay. Cause you just won't. That's crazy. I just wouldn't. Anyone else notice? And more horrible women in the internet, in the news. Meanwhile, dude essays are somehow all innocent. Oof. Say more. What do you mean? And no, she is not guilty. The charges are made up. They're all in her mind. You could see the entitlement, the audacity of this woman. Okay. You could just see it. That's what I have to say about that. Let's keep going.
Release conditions in that the newer case is a defense requesting the same release conditions that are
Yes,
in
Your Honor.
the
First matter was OR, and I believe that this is just expanded a little bit, but nothing changed as far as anything that would warrant a change in the release.
All right. The state have anything to contribute on that issue?
No.
All right, it is OR release. So in the new matter, I will release her in her own recognizance under the same terms and conditions as the 006831. As far as the new dates in that matter, there's going to be an initial pretrial conference on January 21st at 8:15 before Commissioner Popko, a comprehensive pretrial conference February 25th at 9 o'clock before me, final trial management conference April 16th at 9 o'clock before me, then trial assignment April 23rd at 9 o'clock before the trial assignment judge. That judge is located on the 5th floor of this building, courtroom 5B. Ms. Owens, you need to make all those court appearances. If you were to fail to appear, warrant would issue for your arrest. If you don't show up for your trial, it could occur in your absence. Stay in touch with your lawyer. Make sure he has a good cell phone number for you at all times. New last day in the new matter will be May 31st, 2026. Ms. Northup, as to the 2025-006831, is the state moving to dismiss that matter at this point? Or are you going to be filing a written motion on that? Or
The state's going to be filing a written motion now that she's officially been arraigned.
all right. Ooh. And Mr. Swirsky, when I get that pleading, can I just rule on the pleading?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So
The only question I have, Your Honor, is do the new dates reflect this case being complex as well? I see that the other one had been designated.
This case being complex as well. Miss Wee Lassie, that's right. Wrapped in cotton wool is how we say it over here. That's what it was given to me. Like, they just never really let her sit in her consequences. It gives entitled. I'm going to be honest with you. The fact it's just like since 2014 she's been doing this shit. She's been deceiving men, telling them that she's pregnant. Then she gets them in court, tries to tie herself up to these men. These men don't want anything to do with her. Like, the level, and then makes herself a victim of this situation by saying that this has happened to her. And then when people actually look and investigate this, and that I got boys too, man. This is the shit that scares me. I mean, I'm scared for my boys and my girl, right? Please note that. But it's scary to have somebody that would go to this extent to make you somehow tied to her. To even say, I got twins, and then to deceive the court. Anybody that can deceive the court is what? They don't care about the truth. They care about getting their way. And my understanding is that she has been in a facility when she broke up, well, when a relationship ended, right? This man wanted to end it with her. She threatened to end her life, wound up in a facility that was paid by her parents as well. She's always lived with her parents. I mean, I'm looking back, I don't see any kind of like employment work history, because I think work is very important, and employment is very important, right? For young people, for everybody. Everybody should, everybody should be able to, do something in their life, right? She went straight. It just seems like she was very much coddled, and everybody was helping her. Maybe they felt like they needed her, kid gloves, that type of situation. And now here is the situation years later where she has like put a strain on her parents' financial. Yeah, what she was a realtor, but what did she sell? That's what I want to know. And then a podcaster too. So that's why I was like, okay, did she actually make any sellings? I don't know. Like, what does her portfolio look like? Just a question. I don't know. So it just kind of gave that. I'm like, did your parents ever let you sit on anything? Like, any consequences? That's the question that I have. You said she's nothing. She was great. She sold lies, as she did. Listen, yeah, and that she did. She did. And this man's over here like, those kids are not my kids. I didn't impregnate her. He's seen emails and sonograms, and that would freak me out as a guy too. I'm like, whose baby is this? It's not mine.
Complex. This is an expanded.
So it's more complex. I don't think
it's more complex than the last.
I don't think it does. So because it'd be 270 days after her arraignment date, which is today. All right. And is the state in agreement that this should be designated complex?
Yes.
All right. Makes sense, since the previous one was. So I'm going to get you a new set of dates. Just give us a minute. Val, can you do that for me? Okay. So what was the new last day? August 29th. New last day will be August 29th. So we need
I will say that this is going to be a very interesting case in trial. All right. Especially now, law and crime. I'm sure they're going to try to get a camera in there so that it's all public and everything. I'm here for it.
Trial date, trial assignment 30 days before that. FTMC 1 week before that. And I think the IPTC and CPTC dates would remain the same, right?
Probably would be July 29th at 9 a.m. and the FTMC would be July 22nd at 9 a.m.
Okay, so forget April. The trial dates will be July, or the final trial management
We're
conference,
waiting.
July 22nd at 9, trial assignment July 29th at 9. The initial pretrial conference and CPTC dates will remain the same. And let's see, that's 30. IPTCs are non-appearances still, right?
Typically, yeah.
Okay. Should we?
I would propose just changing the CPTC to a CCMC and start it off like that.
All right. Is the state in agreement with that
Yes.
schedule? Okay. So instead of a CPTC, well, we'll just call it both. A CPTC and a CCMC will be February 25th at 9 o'clock. So that'll be the first time I will see you on the new version of this case. It's a couple of months out with the holidays and everything. If there's anything that you need before that, just let me know. I can get you back.
I think we're going to be seeing this trial very early on, maybe next year. I'm thinking if they go by maybe the summer, the spring, this is going to be a very interesting trial. Like I said, I think this is a trial that people need to watch. This woman, like, she's the TED Talk woman who talked about abuse and everything. And then it turns out that the person that she's actually referencing in the TED Talk was actually a victim of hers. You can't make this shit up, guys. This is crazy. Everybody, like, it's, just if you hear an inspirational story, you kind of have to wonder if people are telling the truth. I don't know.
On the calendar. Mr. Swirsky, since I have you here, have you received disclosure?
Yes, in the last week, I
Yes.
have received approximately 6,000 pages of disclosure and 16 body cam recordings, all within like the last week from the state.
All right. So the state's been responsive to your needs in that area.
Very much so.
All right. Well, if you need me to get involved in anything, just let me know. Like I said, and I will schedule something before February. Otherwise, we'll see you February 25th. Did you get all those dates, Ms. Owens?
I'll write them down and get them.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Anything else from the state?
No, Your Honor, thank
All
you.
right. Thank you. We're in recess in this matter.
Woo-wee. That was her brief little appearance. But don't forget what she said. I got pregnant by the Bachelor. And then she was never really pregnant, y'all. She ate a tamale. That's what she ate. She ate some menudo, some tamale, and it made her stomach kind of, but she was never pregnant. Hold up. Let me show y'all if I can show you that picture. I got pregnant by the Bachelor. And the girl was never pregnant. There it is. Lord have mercy. Here it is. This is the affidavit. There you go. This is not a pregnancy. It's not real, man. If you see somebody like this, you got to wonder, did you eat pozole, menudo, tamales? This is what she faked. This is what she faked. She literally took these pictures. And I think then she also does the, equestrian, competition. That costs a lot of money, but that's what it looks like when you're eating, pozole, menudo, and tamales. That's what that looks like. That's not, she was never pregnant, but this is what she was pulling, y'all. Yeah. She ate them. Yo, it's real. Taco Bell. It's the Immaculate Conception. Lord have mercy. Something. Yo. Oops. Yeah, she's all so, yo, she just put that shit right over here, yo. Girl, I was like, put a faja on that, girl. Put a faja on that. Tuck that in. That is not a pregnancy belly, but okay. So this is what she tried to pull. Now, hold up, guys, because I got somebody at my door. Give me 1 second. I always got somebody at my door. 1 sec, y'all. All right. Sorry about that. I swear, I always got, it's like, come on, people. Y'all know I'm live. All right. Shout out to everybody. Thank you, Night Charm. Thank you for the $4.99, my love. Thank you. Shout out to Night Charm, another OG member. Thank you, love. All right. We are going to talk about, now, where is my, hold up, y'all. See, this is what makes me mad. I save all these tags and then they disappear. Where'd you go? 1 second, y'all. Damn it. Yeah, it went away. Okay. I got to pull the article back up again. Okay, we're going to talk about Celeste Rivas' family, the New York Post. Listen, I'm not surprised that the New York Post would be sitting out there watching, because that is what they do. I think that there's a lot of like paparazzi and whatnot. Do they still call them paparazzi? Is that what you call them still? I don't know if that's what you call them. Anyways, so they got an exclusive, and they got exclusive images. Okay, so they're probably posted outside the house right now as we speak, or anywhere else, especially if they're like in the grand jury and whatnot. While they're in there, it wouldn't surprise me if they know where to go to see if there's pictures, or if they're able to see and get a glimpse of them. That would make the most sense to me, honestly. So we're gonna get into this right now. Oh my goodness. Hold up. Bernice, thank you so much for this $10. I missed your super chat. 1, why did Celeste have M necklace like John Marshall? 2, how come ticketers didn't smell the odor And 3, the show asked for dead's one names. Did D4VD get their souls like that? Bernice, I don't know. Okay. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna reread your question in a minute. But we're gonna get to that right now since we're on D4VD. And Tara, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate you guys. Thank you again. Thank you guys. Let's get into this article and then we're gonna get into D4VD as well. Okay. So the family of Celeste Rivas Hernandez attempted normalcy as D4VD remains as suspect in death. So the family of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, whose dismembered body was found inside of a car linked to singer D4VD, was seen trying to return to normalcy over the holiday weekends. The family members of 14-year-old the 14-year-old were seen running errands and taking advantage of Black Friday deals on Friday, Saturday near their home in Lake Elsinore, California, while the romantic homicide singer remains under scrutiny for her death. Photos show Rivas Hernandez's parents, Mercedes and Jesus Rivas Hernandez. Parents, that's dad. This is dad. Out shopping at a local outlet mall, while Rivas Hernandez's sister Jennifer was spotted earlier running errands at a Bank of America ATM. You said what do y'all think about these pictures? She's a little girl. I guess not. For the longest time, we were saying that dad was deported, or at least it was believed, whether he was in here or not. Now, what I do understand is that wasn't the case. You all remember it was several weeks ago, where SF Investigate said that because you could find like the legal status of a person, that wasn't even the case here. It wasn't that they were not legal. So here's some pictures. Okay, let me see if I can get rid of these ads. I guess I can't. Not this one. This is mom. Mercedes Rivas on the phone. Rivas Hernandez's sister Jennifer is running errands over the holiday weekend. Okay. This is mom. I mean, they have all the flowers and the bears and the, they're not throwing stuff away, guys. I mean, they're running errands, Okay, we have this picture here. Yeah, for those that say, well, this is a real picture. You could tell. Look at the flash in the back. Okay. D4VD, Celeste. I know people like to go out after, what is it? Thanksgiving. I'm not a fan of going out after Thanksgiving. I really am not. I try to avoid the stores. They can run errands, I guess, but just confused about how quiet they've been in the whole situation. Yeah. I do wonder, like, I know that language is a barrier. Yeah, I have nothing to say about the family, not with the current information. Yeah, Ava. Y'all, I know that language is a barrier, y'all, but I can guarantee you that Univision, Telemundo, all these kind of networks have probably been reaching out to them. Now, to me, it's like, okay, say that they're not giving an interview to the media, but they are cooperating with authorities. They are, that's primary to me, more so than they go out and they talk, right? Maybe they're giving statements to the jury. There's a lot that we can say about this. To me, it's Thanksgiving. I don't know. I think everybody deals with grief a little bit different. You said they are unbothered as AF. Further proof that they sold. Oof, night charm. My goodness. I guess I want to know what y'all think. Stazzarazzi. Yeah, paparazzi, Staccarazzi. We're going to get more into this article. Dr. Edward, thank you so much. Thank you for the super sticker. Thank you. Really appreciate it. And Darcy, thank you so much for the 189. Te queremos mucho. Thank you, Darcy. Thank you. And Andressa, thank you so much. Oh, y'all are cute and amazing. Thank you. All right. We are going to get into it. And thank you. Sen. Thank you. Happy birthday. Enjoy your week. Yes. Oh, y'all are amazing. Thank you guys. Okay. No one would know how long the mother has been in the US. And we don't know how long she's been in the US. I'm assuming that she would have had to have been here long enough to, I mean, I don't know. It's a great question. So these are her pictures. She knows people are posted outside, right? Like there's a whole memorial there. People have been outside taking pictures. This is the sister. I've never seen a picture of her sister, but this is her sister. Looks like older sister. There's more pictures here. Okay. They post more. Okay. A Los Angeles grand jury is currently reviewing evidence surrounding Rivas Hernandez's death. The teen's body was found inside of a Tesla belonging to singer D4VD, a real name, David Anthony Burke, after she was reported missing from her home in Lake Elsinore. It's believed that she was living with D4VD in a rented Hollywood Hills home at the time of her death. Her remains were found on September 8th, one day before her 15th birthday. One sec, y'all. Hold up. It is believed that she was living with D4VD in the rented Hollywood Hills home at the time of her death. Her remains were found September 8th, one day before her 15th birthday. After D4VD's car was impounded, Rivas was described as a beloved daughter, sister, cousin, and friend. That was the GoFundMe, and they linked the GoFundMe. An official cause of death has not been released, as law enforcement are awaiting the toxicology results. I honestly think that we know what the toxicology is. I think that they know what the toxicology is, but that's just my opinion. A Los Angeles grand jury will probe Rivas Hernandez's death, according to most recent reports. So that is the exclusive information that they gave. Apparently, we got to talk about Anna Kempner at some point because we have some more information on that probably tonight. At some point, family members of the 14-year-old were seen running errands and taking advantage of the Black Friday deals. So this was after Thanksgiving on Friday and Saturday. So they went out both days. Photos show Rivas' parents, Jesus Rivas Hernandez and Mercedes at a local shopping mall outlet while Rivas Hernandez's sister Jennifer was spotted running errands. They're being followed. I wonder if they know that they're being followed. What do you guys think? The excuse doesn't work when they initially spoke to TMZ. Says, "Ooh, okay." You said, "Not sure if I'd be able to move on so quickly." Y'all know I like having conversations with you guys that, because I like to, for me, it's like I seek to understand, right? How are they supposed to? Like what, if a parent is grieving, and I can believe that they are, for me, it's like, when it's a child, but I also feel like they've been disconnected from this child from quite some time. That's just my opinion. It seems to me that they have probably been disconnected from her for a while, because the last time I think they actually even saw her, they might have spoken to her here and there, but we don't even have a time frame. We could say 2024, if that. You said, I'm not sure the family cares about her. I most likely be in a rubber room, but each person grieves differently. Yeah. I could tell you that. I don't think I'd be okay for a very long time. But again, I also think that everybody grieves a little bit different. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think people see things, and then also please note that, death and dying is viewed in different ways for so many people. You said, sadly, life doesn't stop and they still have to get up and continue their lives daily. That's right. They have other children to tend to. That's a good point. Shock can be of it, especially with the disconnection, right? If maybe they didn't even see her last Thanksgiving or last holiday season. So it's kind of like, is this a normal? Are we just going to go about our life? I mean, this is a tragic situation, right? I don't think anybody is wrong for giving an answer that doesn't necessarily fall the way in which everybody wants it to fall. You know what I mean? Like, it's the way I see it. It's like, it's okay to say that's not how I would deal with it, but this is how I would deal with it. And this is my thought. That's how I would deal with that grief, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think anybody's being judgmental to it because we all grieve a little bit different. Rabbit, I'm trying to understand this. And you said, Rabbit, I'm trying to read this, don't understand. I'm trying to read this, don't understand. You don't understand? You said my nephew 22 just died in a car accident before Halloween. The family is brokenhearted, but still had to do regular things in their life. Right? She kept running away due to what she allegedly called mean parenting. Either way, the family can't just sit around and do nothing. Do we let me ask y'all a question. Here's another question I have for you. Again, I ask you to seek to understand. What do we know about their parenting? And I'm not talking about, like, if you are to believe the messages, right? What do we know so far about the parent? What can we assess on their parenting? We have not had a conversation with them, right? I haven't. I'll say that. It's hard for me to assess. I know nothing. I could tell you what I can use to assess that dispatch report that was on Reddit. Y'all remember that? The one with the dispatch calls, how many times 911 was called, and some of them were juvenile related. I can definitely assess that there was a lot going on in the home. I just don't know if I can assess the parenting. Now, I will say that I personally felt it to be a failure, and I'll say it again because I've said it that part before, is that if they had an idea of who D4VD was, and I'm going to allegedly say, based on that email, y'all remember that email that was sent to Josh Marshall? Josh Marshall said he didn't know nothing about that email, yada, yada, yada. You know, the parents knew enough to know who D4VD was, right? They knew enough to know who D4VD was. You have a whole ass, celebrity, okay, that has some kind of a hold on your child, on your minor child. And this is where I've said multiple times, I personally feel like that is where I would have used that as leverage to get my kid back, right? To intervene in my child's life a little bit more. Where are the dispatch reports, the 911 calls to the Hollywood Hills home or other addresses that I thought she would have been at, right? That's what I also would use to assess. That it wasn't like these parents were just so disconnected from her that they let her do whatever the hell she wanted, that they try to intervene. I think one way you can make that argument is by saying they did call her missing. But she wasn't always missing. And not only that, not just mom, dad, and all these other people, but you also have, oh, hold up. You also have others that might have been, not so much Esmeralda, but maybe even others that might have been around the situation when she wasn't on the run. Something to keep in mind, right? Something to keep in mind. All right, hold up, y'all. All right, it's the dog. You said, yeah, the manager lied to his teeth. Yeah. So I have a lot of questions. You said, going back to what you said weeks ago, Rabbit, they asked for the public assistance for money and haven't said anything, not even to honor Celeste's life. We're waiting on that. Now, the other thing that I was thinking about this too is that if they are cooperating with authorities, maybe this is why, maybe authorities have asked them not to say anything. That's another factor too, while the investigation is going on. We don't know. If there's a grand jury, I'm assuming that these parents are being interviewed as well as other relatives and whatnot, right? What is going on? We don't know. That's what I'm saying. Hold up, y'all. I got somebody at my door again. Oh my goodness, y'all. You said, do you believe that she was ever missing without her parents knowing where she was at? I'm thinking about this lately. Chronic runaways, people that kind of come and go. There's a, you know, the way it's supposed to work when a chronic runaway is, kind of going back and forth is you're supposed to call them in when they've returned home. But sometimes they don't even stay long enough in one spot. And so some people don't even follow up with the report, don't even like follow up with anything. So I think that there were times where she was not missing and she was around, but they didn't really, meaning the parents did not really follow up with calling her and calling the police and letting them know that she's back home. There could have been times like that too. So I don't believe she was always missing, but I believe that she was missing for, portions of time. I mean, she was staying somewhere. I also have a feeling, and not that I know because I don't, it's just a feeling that the parents very well knew that she was with him, right? But didn't want to have that argument with her, right? So like I said before, they became complacent to her behavior, her running back and forth and doing whatever the hell she wanted to do. She did not want to be in one spot. And I think that mom and dad maybe knew that and allowed her to do what she wanted to do. But the thing is that's, we can talk about the parenting, right? With the little information that we have, I just don't know if we have all the information. We just don't. We don't have it. And I also feel like you're right. Like they have not spoken out publicly. I would have said something because the community gave me money to bury my child. Clearly, the community was touched by her story. And so I want to make sure that the community knows how much I appreciate them and everything. So, yeah, like I want them to know that I appreciate that y'all didn't know my daughter, but thank you for this. And let me let you know that I'm cooperating with the authorities. We want justice for my child. And I'm not going to speak anymore because that's what it is. And that's a simple Spanish statement that anybody can make, but they have chosen not to. And I have to kind of wonder. I also feel like there's a level of not knowing them, but there is a level of negligence here in certain areas, right? With the adults that were involved. That's my thought on that. He said, I agree. They knew about David and where she was, and they chose to look the other way. There could have been that too. Her disappearance would be dependent upon whether David was touring or not, surely. She couldn't have gone out of country with gigs. Well, where was she when he was touring? Was she going with him? Was she staying at a property? Who was she staying with around that time? That's the question. That's my thought. These communities are afraid to bring national attention to themselves and neighbors do to ICE as well, even if they were legal. It's an accurate statement. Accurate statement. I mean, y'all, remember when we were covering this and we had somebody in the chat, just call ICE on them. Like, it's like ignorant statements like that. And I mean, whatever, like, I'm not trying to get political with you guys, but that's not solving anything. And ICE doesn't solve murders. They don't do that. As if we're calling ICE is going to make somebody speak out. Y'all, that's too much. People are doing too much when they say ignorant stuff like that. Just because you may know who a person is does not mean you know exactly where they are. So they're missing. That's true. Very true. Marshall has been suspicious figure to me since he got Fisher involved. Marshall? Since when do people with any link to crime involve themselves? And then he got the email and that didn't happen. Marshall, you talking about the Josh Marshall, right? That, in my opinion, in my opinion, I don't have any facts, y'all. No facts. It's just my opinion. I feel like he knew a lot more in terms of Josh Marshall knew, and he was close to D4VD. I mean, D4VD went to his wedding. His parents went to his wedding. So I do wonder what the connection. Maybe Josh thought that they were just friends, or maybe didn't know the age. But I do feel like Josh Marshall probably knew that there was a relationship or a closeness, and maybe he just didn't think about it. But I don't know. And it wouldn't surprise me if hopefully everybody's cooperating with these people. Rabbit, what are your thoughts and beliefs on the family potentially receiving monetary incentives? I don't know this family. Wouldn't surprise me. I know that sucks that I just say that, but I don't know them. It wouldn't surprise me. I don't know. It would not surprise me if there was I don't know, man. What does that mean exactly? No. I don't know. What I will say is, and I've asked the question before, I said I just find this whole thing to be suspect, that we don't know what happened after he was informed about a body being in his car. What did he do? Did he go to Cali? Did he go to Texas? Where is he at? That's what I'm gonna say about that. You said that would mean that the parents, I don't know. I told you guys, nothing surprises me in these cases. It just doesn't. Nothing surprises me at all. I have a hard when that message, and if it's true, that message that says something to the effect of, Celeste was telling D4BD, I want to go to your concert, but my mom won't let me go. Like I said, I have a feeling that mom, dad kind of knew this situation, and by responding to the public or saying anything, hell, or maybe they are cooperating with the investigation, right? By saying anything that could compromise things, and maybe they were asked not to say anything at this point. So you have to be mindful of that. If someone found a body in my car, I sure as hell would not be going off on tour. Not a chance. Well, he was on tour when this body was found, right? And he returned clearly. I mean, and it sounded like nothing got initially canceled. Remember, he was supposed to be performing at the Grammys. Nothing got canceled initially, and then this happens. So then that put the kibosh on a lot of ish. He was like, well, I got to go and handle stuff. And then what do? They start moving deeds, house deeds, and stuff like that. I think that should have been the biggest red flag for us too. Like, if you ain't got nothing to worry, why would you be? If this was just a misdemeanor situation, hiding a body, and it was just that, the last thing you're going to do is be moving deeds, 2 properties in Texas. And we had no idea that he owned 2 properties in Texas, But yeah, the whole thing is just weird to me. I mean, I think it's weird overall. You said, sorry, I just recovered from a headache. Oh my God, I'm sorry for Celebrities Podcast. The parents were okay with Celeste dating with him, and he had money. And that's that's the part that is unclear to me still. Like I said, I don't speak for all Latinos, but I had a similar situation, if that makes sense. Had to open a cookie. I was Celeste's age when I dated somebody a lot older than me. And, culturally, it's like, now it's kind of frowned upon, but back then it was just, I don't know. Like, I don't want to put a label to say it was acceptable. I mean, my mom married very, very young. And my dating was it was older. I was always into older I mean, I was always into older people. I think that a level of maturity for me is what always attracted me to people, older men. If I had a body in my trunk, I'd be under the jail. That's how the laws are set up. I was 15 and dated a 22-year-old. It didn't end well. Yeah. Yvonne, and that's the thing that is like, if I could tell something to the younger version of myself, it would be that I don't need to put myself in situations with older people. I guess, that's how it is. Rabbit was buck wild. Just a little bit. When I was 19, I lived with a 30-year-old. See, but you're 19 though, right? I don't need to rush. I think that that was the thing, and but for whatever when you're young, you're not really like paying attention. And this is the story, and like I said, Celeste's case is not unique to anybody. A lot of us, like myself, I'll speak for myself. I mean, I dated somebody that was 19. I was 14, he was 19. There was an age, he was about to turn 20. So yeah, it was very similar kind of age situation. And in my mind, I was in love, and that's what it was. And if my parents had stopped me from dating him, I probably would have done the same too. I probably would have ran away, because that's what it was. But I mean, that relationship, that was like my first boyfriend, and that relationship, it messed me up. It really did. It don't go chasing waterfalls. No, it messed me up, y'all. Like it really did. It After that relationship, because he broke my heart, like it literally after that, it took me a good 4 years to recover from that. I wasn't well after that. And it's crazy because it's like I didn't quite understand what I was feeling at the time, why I wasn't well, but it literally messed me up for a while. I was really messed up for a while after that. And then um got back together. And then it even messed me up even more. So yeah, like, yo, let me stop. Like, we're not there to talk about my relationships, but and y'all know I never get personal and private, but I mean, that gives you a little bit of an insight how much of that actually, there are certain lessons in life, relationships specifically, men, women, whatever you're in, is like some people, this was somebody that really hurt me in many ways. And I was not okay for years after that. And it took me a while to recover after that. With that being said, though, is it does not like Celeste's story is not unique to a lot of young girls out there, okay, that find themselves in situations like that. So yeah, you said, yeah, well, I still like older men. All my relationships have been at least 3 years older. Luckily, nothing bad has happened to me. That's good. Good for you. Yeah, he still toured. I didn't stop his touring. It wasn't until they basically said he needed to stop. He was going to perform at the Grammys, Fire Rabbit. Don't forget. He was going to perform at the Grammys. He said, do you think everything is teen, or do you just aren't thinking at all? Which I think was my case. Do you think you know everything as a teen? I don't know if I necessarily thought, Tara, that I knew everything, or that even like I can't speak for Celeste, right? I don't necessarily know if that's the case. The problem with youth, right? And once you learn a little bit about brain development, is that your brain is still developing as a child, right? So everything that you're experiencing is so new. And it's not so much that you want to grow up fast. The people around you might want to say that, oh, that fast little girl, yada, yada, yada. You think you know everything type of situation. But it's really what the environment is offering you at that moment. For me, as somebody who was going through, situations at that young age, I realized that for whatever reason, I was being fulfilled by being in that situation. Something was missing clearly as a child that I did not get. And so then pursuing that, in many ways, got me to feel whatever fulfillment that was. And I wonder if if it was the same for Celeste. Whatever she was not getting in her home life, um, did it lead her to just fall so, into this situation that she couldn't see herself outside of that? And then add the part where this man has money, buying her things. Add the part where this man could save her, offering her, there's another house where they could meet, they could be together, this type of situation. Like, put that into that compartment, and you literally have a situation where grooming happens, right? Yeah, that's what it is. It's very easy because it happened to me too, where my parents, when they were pushing back, when I was in this relationship, they were pushing back on certain things. they became the enemies. So then you start seeing them in such a bad light, even when you're hearing and they're coming out of love. Like, that's what happens. But to me, it's like, I don't know. It's like you gotta have to understand that everybody develops a little bit different. Your environment can play a role into that. I knew, like, my mom, I'm her firstborn, so my mom was 15 when she had me, y'all. Okay, there isn't a whole big like age gap between us. Believe it or not, my mom was a child. My dad was a kid too. Like, they were children, right? So my mom was a teen mom before it became popular to be a teen mom, and a show happened, right? And literally, there were so many things that I think like I was being raised by a child. Does that make sense? I still love my mom. I love her, but that's the reality of it. I was being raised by a child, right? That's what that was. Um, yeah, so our histories are really similar, but yeah, like, hell, even my mom told me, sorry, I had to put this on pause. Me and my mom told me, she said that the day she gave birth, she said that the doctor told her, it's like giving a child is giving birth to another child. That's what it was, right? But back then you knew, no different. Like, it just, my mom didn't have a whole lot of guidance. My grandmother died when my mom was very young. She was like only 2 or 3. So there wasn't a whole lot of like womanly guidance. Now I get to write history a little bit different, right? Because I wasn't a teen mom. I was still young when I had my oldest, but I wasn't a teen mom. So there's different aspects to this. The more you learn about, cultures and perceptions and familial structures, you start to kind of lay back a little bit on the judgment part and seek to understand. And that's really what this is about. I am very parentified. Oh, yeah. I'm like on 10 parent. I was always very parentified, being the oldest, all the time, all the time. Um, that's what happens. That's the reality of a lot of first generations is we become very parentified and protective of our parents. If you ever fear that somebody's going to get deported, you better believe I'm very protective. I mean, that's why a lot of us fall through the cracks. That's why a lot of us kind of, we go through that. Yeah, some of us, we are very parentified, which, I've laid back a lot on that on my very own children. Y'all remember that Loves commercial? That Loves commercial? I'll tell you what it is. It's like you have your first child. There's this famous love commercial. It's so true. You have your first child and you're very careful. You want to get them the best diapers and the this and the that and this. And you're very careful. Kid gloves. Everybody wash your hands before you handle my child. Then you have your second child and it's like, that's when you start buying Loves because you're like, I really don't need the Huggies. That shit is expensive. Let me go to Loves. Like that's you tend to kind of move that way. I have learned to be that way about myself. There's moments where I'm very protective of mine, but there's moments where I've had to chill a lot because I have a lot of fears and a lot of stuff. But a lot of this comes from like when I hear cases like Celeste Rivas. Like I said, Celeste Rivas is not the only kid out there that was in a situation like this. And for whatever reason, she wasn't feeling that connection at home. Y'all remember that one that boyfriend she had, Celeste, the one before D4VD, right? They dated and they did that TMZ interview and the mom came in there and they talked about, the home life was very rough type of situation. I have a feeling that that's very much about the structure that they were applying and her just not wanting to comply. Her not being able to identify to certain things, and this is a real thing, right? Not being able to identify to maybe, this structure, rules, and stuff like that. It just, it is what it is. You said the best diapers. Yeah, with this case, I think this really could have been me. I think it could have been a lot of us, right? So yeah, you said it's worse than just protective parents. You figure out how to patch the parents' emotional needs because parents isn't seeking external help. This is a good comment right here. This is exactly it. You said, hold up, let me see. This is why babies shouldn't have babies. There you go. I'm old, but I've seen generations of these kinds of things. That's right. And like I said, my mom is a great mom. I love my mom. I'm very, I feel like now that I'm a lot older, I'm closer to her. I wasn't always, and we've patched a lot of things, a lot of ways. I could tell you that when I was Celeste's age, I felt like my mom was like hard to connect. Couldn't even talk to her. So for me, it was very hard. As I got a little bit older, I started to understand her perspective in certain things. Doesn't mean I always agree with her. We're not always going to agree. But one thing I know is that my mom is always going to be in my business, even though I don't want her to be in my business. But I can never and she knows, like, she's not like overbearing, but she knows I love her, and I love my parents. I've been very blessed. I believe it. I've been very blessed, but there's been a lot of life lessons in between. I'm pretty sure she would probably say the same as well. You said, hold on, I'm emotionally more connected to my dad than my mom. Really? When I was Celeste's age, I was more connected. I felt it easier to talk to my dad, but I'm pretty good on both, actually. You said, I'm lucky as a first generation kid. I saw my mom learn how to drive and go to the YMCA and learn her English. I was lucky I didn't have to translate for everything because my mom didn't want me to. There you go. And everything that I've been through is exactly what I don't want my kids to go through. They'll never understand what certain things have been like, right? They'll never understand what it's like to translate. They'll never understand what it's like to, certain things, to move around, to not get help from school, to, not have a parent. I didn't have anybody advocating for me. I had to do all that by myself. That's why I had a mouth on me when I was younger. And I got in trouble a lot because there wasn't nobody. So it's a thing that my kids will never understand because I'm there. You said babies having babies, Tupac. There you go. It's a real thing. But like I said, we're talking about, and I'm going to circle this around to Celeste's parents. I think it's okay to allow ourselves to have a conversation and question about protective capacities of these parents, right? It's open for that for many reasons. We're not victim blaming. We're literally having a conversation because I think that this case is something that all of us can take from and learn and figure out where are some gaps in the way in which I communicate with my kid. That my kid maybe doesn't want to tell me that they're being groomed, or somebody's talking to them that they're older and they're afraid that I'm going to freak out. How do I apply those protective capacities to make sure that I understand what I'm doing and how I'm handling this? And that's the thing, that this is a learning lesson for a lot of us. And there's a lot of girls out there like Celeste, and a lot of boys too, like Celeste. I think that there's something to be said about that. As far as their grieving, we don't know. We don't know anything. I can't tell you that, I would grieve different. I think that I'd have a hard time getting up. I probably wouldn't leave my home. People are going to have to pry me out of there. That's how I would handle this. But I also have to take into consideration the fact that what was that closeness? What was it? If they hadn't really seen her that long, that often. Sometimes people, parents will consolidate. Let me give you an example. And I've seen this a lot, right? Where if you've ever had a child die of addiction and they've been struggling for many, many years, and you've done everything to help out, and you can't, there isn't a whole, like, you're out of resources, you're out of money, you're out of patience, you're never out of love, but you are at your wit's end. And unfortunately, this child dies of addiction or whatever it may be, right? Is there somebody to blame at that point? When do you, or how do you grieve that? How do you determine where to, like, these are conversations that I'm like, yeah, you have to kind of wonder, right? Like, where do you resign with that? How do you feel about that? We don't know. And I think that that's what the issue is here, is that they're still trying to figure out maybe how to grieve, but maybe it's not the way we would do it. You said, I grew up with a narcissistic parent whose only goal is to ruin my life. My dad smiles in my downfall and criticizes my success. My kids will never know this. I'm so sorry, Whitney. I don't know. You said, Helen, they kept us busy. We didn't have time to do much. Ooh, sorry. I missed so many comments. It takes a village nowadays, and there's no village helping. Yeah, sometimes the village is starving, right? Like sometimes the village is trying to survive. That's the thing. They're so worried about X, Y, and Z to worry about somebody else's kids. Sometimes the village is struggling. It's a real thing that's happening. So then we expect the village to take care of children. It's so hard. So it's one of those things. It's like, yeah, you still blame her father for letting her try it. There you go. Remember, we're not talking about 16 or 17-year-olds. Celeste was 13, 14. Her issues started when she was even younger. That's right. I'm not letting the parents off the hook. I don't think anybody needs to at all. I don't think there's a lot of people I shouldn't be left off the hook. I think it's okay to ask questions for sure. To seek to understand. I'm here for it. Like I said, I think it's important. You said, hold up. I've always had a hard time articulating the subject from a Latino's point of view without coming across like I condone dating a minor, which I don't, but thank you. It's hard. I mean, Abraham, when I first talked about it on this channel, we were talking about it. I said, y'all, you're going to hate me, but I'm going to tell you, in some cultures, I know I went through it. Is this little piece of information I've never shared with anybody? Well, now everybody, I mean, people knew, some people knew because here and there I've talked about it, but not like in relation to this case, right? Like that. But you're right. And so we don't have to accept it. We don't. We don't have to accept it. We shouldn't, right? But it's okay to talk about it. And out of a place of concern and understanding and love, right? You said, I don't have kids. I do now trying to raise a child. I do know but I do know how hard it is to raise a child at this time is so tough. So many changes so fast to try and stay up with everything to protect the children. That's it right here, Sylvia. That's the problem. That's why I said it's like the village is struggling. We trying to raise, it takes a village, but I'm like, well, where's the village struggles, man? It's hard. It's hard. Not a lot of resources out there to help out sometimes. It is, but I hear you. And that's okay. It's okay to be mad about it. You're mad because you care, right? Cultural differences, for people that don't understand cultural differences, and this is a lot of people, I could say a lot of people in this chat struggle with that. If I try to explain to you, this is what this culture's like, and this is what you're seeing, it's okay to be mad about that because you care, right? Otherwise, that it'd be like a moot point. You're not trying to be offensive. You're not trying to like hurt anybody with your being mad. You are mad because you care, because you don't want to see a child, regardless of what kind of background, ethnicity, or what, be hurt. I get that. It's okay to be mad. It's also okay to educate and understand, but it's okay to be mad because I think a lot of people care. It's important. I'm here for it. When you get mad, that's when changes happen, right? That's when people start doing things and they say they're going to change something or do something. So yeah, I agree. Get mad. Even if you seek to understand, but get mad. I think that's important. We can learn a lot about things through our own anger as well. Now, hold up. Before we move on, because we are going to move on, I want to see something real quick because I think somebody just hit my mailbox with something. Let me see something real quick. Okay. Yeah, I'm keeping an eye because I always have to. But I really appreciate you guys allowing me to have this conversation. Like I said, I've learned a lot. And I try so hard not to internalize certain things, but I have learned a lot just by talking about it, processing it with you guys, and even checking myself in certain areas because we care, and sometimes I've gotten emotional about this case. It's gotten to me. I don't know. I don't know. It just has. Let me shout out. Hold up, because I'm missing y'all. I'm so sorry. Zen, again, thank you so much for the $4.99, my love. Happy birthday. Coco's mom, thank you so much for the 5. I could still be curled up in bed crying for my child. I'm sorry, Coco's mom. Thank you so much for the $5. Connie, I hope you're doing well. This is Connie's sister. Son's death date is December 12th. Daughter's death date is the 22nd. Hard to do Christmas. Yes. I've said this before. Y'all check on yourselves. I get seasonal depression. And if you've had any losses in your family, this is a real thing. Make sure you guys are checking up on people, letting them know how you're doing. So thank you so much. I hope that, you know, you do your best and stay encouraged. December's a month for sure. And I know that it always brings certain areas of various people. So much love to you. Not Cindy Shea, thank you so much for the 199. Happy birthday. It's always lovely to see you. Thank you. Greek lady, thank you. Thank you. Happy birthday. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Yvonne, thank you again. Happy birthday. Thank you. 13-month member Morris. Morris, I feel like it's been longer. I always say that because I feel like for a lot of people it's been longer because I've been doing this for a while. Morris, thank you for being a member for 13 months. Do they even know where he is? Not D4VD. Not D4. I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe authorities do, but I don't know if anybody else does, honestly. So we need to understand, you know, that I'm sure more information is coming, but I can't wait to find out. That's kind of where we're at too. Thank you so much. Be Kind says, shout out to everybody with seasonal affective disorder. It's a real thing, y'all. Check on yourselves. You're not alone. I get it all the time too. Every once in a while, the holidays gets me down and I find myself just a little bit depressed, but it'll pass. It'll pass. All right. A season is just that, not forever. Yeah, for sure. So check on yourselves and be good to yourselves. Be good to yourselves, okay? I want to talk about Rebecca K. Oh. So put a 1 in the chat if you were live with us last night. On this interview, put a 1 in the chat if you were live last night with me. Well, if you were with me live last night, put a 1 in the chat if y'all remember this one. Natasha, thank you so much for being a member for 5 months. You're just a human. That's why we love you, Rabbit. Thank you, Natasha. Shout out to Natasha. Thank you. Thank you. Y'all remember. Okay. This is a disturbing case. All right. So then I went back. Remember, I told you guys, I was like, let me go back and see if I understand a little bit more of what's happening here. Okay. So I'm going to break it down for you guys here. Give me 1 second. All right. So let me get my coffee for this one, y'all. Rebecca K, 22 years old, 38 weeks pregnant. She goes missing the first week of November. Just giving you guys a little breakdown, okay? She goes missing the first week of November. Mom, her name is Courtney, and she is married to Bradley, stepdad. Okay. Now, Courtney reports to law enforcement that mom, Rebecca, that she, was picked up by a car, doesn't see her anymore. She goes missing, right? She was actually due on the 18th of November. Okay. She was found, I believe, on the 25th. Put the date in the chat if y'all remember, the 25th. Okay. So when she was found, it was just her body. They said that her child was missing, meaning we don't know if it was, well, now we know the details, horrible details, right? Courtney has a daughter named Kimberly, who's also Rebecca's sister. Kimberly and Rebecca's fiance, 43-year-old man by the name of Richard, are both arrested. Sister and fiance are arrested, not related necessarily to charges pertaining to Rebecca. Okay. Kimberly is charged with lying to police, other stuff pertaining to this investigation, but no homicide, no murder, no nothing. The fiance is charged with meth, and he has a pass. He's a registered sex offender. Okay. He's got that in his past. All right. Courtney mom decides to hook up with some TikTokers, right? She's hitting the link, going on TikTok to give her side of the story about how, what's happening, how the search is going bad and people are intervening and whatnot and whatnot. Courtney yesterday, well, she was arrested on December 1st. Courtney was formally charged with the murder of Rebecca. They say that Courtney and the stepdad Cade Rebecca. They cut her stomach open and they removed this baby, and they believe that they caused the stillborn or the death of this baby as well. What we're watching is an interview that a TikToker, I believe her name's Steph's, what's her name? True Crime Files with Steph. She did, and she uploaded on YouTube. So we watched some of this yesterday. It is creepy to see a mom talk about and deceive people about what happened to her child. She was charged. She was charged with her and the stepfather. They set this whole thing up. They cut this baby out of her stomach. They did. It turns out that Rebecca and Courtney, they just reconnected after 4 years. They weren't really that close. And it's the same with Kimberly. Kimberly's calling Courtney, Courtney, right? Not mom. They're not very close. This is a hot mess. Now, it turns out, it's been speculated that Courtney, Rebecca's mom, was dating or at least was around Rebecca's fiance, Richard. That at some point, they're about the same age, y'all. Mom is 40, Richard is 43, and Rebecca was 22. And then furthermore, it goes that, there might have been a situation where Richard was touching or Kimberly or something like that, or had been graped by Richard. Like, this family situation dynamic is just crazy. So that's what I went back and I listened to the last part because I was like, I'm confused by this dynamic here. And then I was able to assess that. I just gave you guys the short of this. I literally thought when I made the joke, I'm like, what in the Jerry Springer? I apologize if I offended people, but I was like, this is crazy, man, because of the interactions and stuff like that. It just does not make sense. We're going to finish this interview. Okay. We stopped at 4. I left it right where we stopped at last night. We were live for 2 hours yesterday. 48:56. That's where we stopped. And it stops at 1 hour and 14. She did a 2-part interview. And it's crazy. The C on the bottom is Courtney, Rebecca's mom. The picture on top is Kimberly, Rebecca's sister. And, the lady with the glasses is the person doing the interview. Okay. The interviewer, the TikToker. Make sure you guys check them out. Let me hit play on this. I gave you guys a recap, and we might play a little bit more before that, just so we're not too off. Okay. Maybe 46. Here we go.
He don't need to be out on the streets. I'm just going to lay it there because nobody underage is safe from him. And really nobody on earth is safe from him, in my opinion.
Yeah. They're talking about Richard, Rebecca's fiance. Remember, registered as so. He's had charges. Okay. And then he's got all these drug charges too.
How many victims, Courtney, do you think Rich has? We know there's 5 convictions. But how many people do you think that he has done something nefarious to in that way?
Probably a lot. That's just the way he is. He gets around any woman and he'll try to sweet talk them, which is just that way. He thinks about sex all the time.
That's Courtney, Rebecca's mom. Okay. And again, Rebecca is expecting a child by Richard. Again, Courtney sounds like she might have dated Richard too.
He is a sick man and he needs to go to jail for that stuff.
Do you think if they confiscated his phone, they would find underage activity?
Yes. Like I said, my baby cousin is one of his victims right now, and it should be on his phone. It was on Snapchat, so they'd have to go through Snapchat. But he asked her for boob pics, and her mom just now realized that that's what he did because she finally come out and said something. And then her mom asked her if Rich did something else, and she kind of hesitated and said no. But like I told her mom, I said she might not want to tell you. She might tell somebody else, like a female officer or something like that.
How does he have contact with this underage human being? Is this somebody that he knows, his kid, or?
It was Randy's daughter. Is who Rich asked for boob pics from. It was Randy's daughter. That is how Rich is in contact with this child because of Becca. Because Becca hangs out with the children, which
No. And let me make sure I'm doing my best to correct this. This is not, no, is Richard known as Bradley Bartholomew in the press? No. Bradley Bartholomew, okay, is Courtney's husband. Courtney is Bartholomew too. Bradley would be Rebecca's stepfather. Richard is allegedly an ex of Courtney, okay, and also the father of Rebecca's child. Allegedly, that's what they've said. So just so you know, these are two different individuals, okay? Hopefully that corrects that.
16-year-old girl and her brother.
So it's safe to say that Rich is a professional groomer.
Yeah, definitely. I will agree with you there. Yes, he is.
And I want to say, Steph, on behalf of Steph and everybody here, I want to say to the 1.4 million, trigger warning to anybody who's gone through this stuff. We're not really doing this for any other reason but to put pieces to the puzzle together. So I thought I would just throw that out there.
We have 208,000 likes, 1.4 thousand souls in this room right now.
This was all on a TikTok live, y'all. It goes down on the TikTok in true crime. I don't remember. So, I mean, I've seen some stuff on YouTube, but this is like next level. Y'all, these people just got charged. Well, this woman, Courtney, just got charged with the murder of Rebecca, and they're going to use all this against her in court. You could already tell.
I've changed the live go to 10 Corgi Corgs. If you can throw one, please do so. It goes to support the platform. And what I do here, did you know I have a podcast? You can listen to my podcast wherever any major podcast episode is heard: Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio. You can also catch me for the love of God. You can also catch me on the show, Missing with.
Check her out. Her name is Steph's Case File. I'm going to try to skip over some of this. She has to do the promotion for the channel. Make sure you guys check her out, okay?
My friend was dating him, and she had a little girl, and he went to prison for his charges, and he put this little girl's name across his neck. Like, the mom was going to marry him, and she didn't want nothing to do with him when he went. But he put this little girl's name across his neck, and it is still there.
Go ahead, Chef. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I was just curious. So, from what you can remember, these kids that he's grooming, do you think it's a transfer for their moms or dads for Ruggs for allowing them to groom their children?
Oh my God! And this is Richard. Lord have mercy. You said I know stuff. Do you know her personally? Or are you a member of her channel? Let me know what you mean by that. She'd be a great person to talk to. My goodness. That is insane, man. Her interview skills, by the way, are amazing. She did an amazing job on the one where she was wearing the red shirt. I thought was an amazing interview. Yeah, I'll say that. But the way in which she's kind of, is questioning. I like the questioning format for her. She's really good at it.
No. This clinic does not do Ruggs. Becca wanted to hang out with the kids because she was with Randy, and the kids like my daughter, and they're cousins, so she didn't think anything of it, I'm sure. Rich ain't gonna tell her that he's grooming the kid.
Anybody gonna say nothing?
Courtney, can you tell me approximately how long? I understand your description, and I drew the map so I understand the orientation. But when you pulled out of your driveway and across the street, and you sat there while she was waiting for this person to come and get her, how long was that period of time?
I know it. Sorry. I know it was less than 10 minutes.
And during those 10 minutes, is that when you talked about the baby shower and the whatnots?
No, we talked about that before I even pulled out the driveway. Mind you, we got here about about 7:30. We got here. I don't know if it was a little bit before 7:30 or a little bit after, but we sat here till like 8:20 and I started backing out the driveway. So
During
it
the-
was less than 10 minutes.
During the time that you were sitting there waiting 10 minutes, what was she saying? Was she on her phone? What was happening?
She looked at her phone a couple times and that was it.
Did she say anything to you?
She didn't say anything. And I wasn't going to ask questions because I knew that if I did, it was going to push her away.
What were you doing during this time? Were you on your phone?
No, I was just sitting there tapping my nails on the steering wheel. Like, I can't believe this. Like, I'm going to be up all night because this child wants to go somewhere else. Because I know she's going to want me to take her home.
What?
Or is this person going to take her home? Well, when I talked to Rich, she wasn't there. So she had to plan on coming back because she told me she was going to. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to be up all night.
I really want to wrap my head.
This is like, well, I'm gonna be up all night because she wants to get us connected and whatnot. Yeah. If let me show you my email. I'm gonna put it up here. I would like to get connected with her if possible. That'd be amazing. I'm just listening to Courtney's response. Misty, thank you so much for this $2 super sticker. Thank you, my love. Thank you, appreciate it. What is going on? Like, it's like there's yo, again, this is around the time that she was still missing. Rebecca was. So I'm not even hearing an urgency in this woman's voice or anything like that because she knew what had happened.
Sorry, I really want to wrap my head around. If you know that Rich is capable of doing what he's doing and he's done what he's done, why would you want to go bring the cell phone back to him? Seriously, please. From the bottom of your heart, answer that for me.
Didn't think Kimberly had the code. And I know that Rich is very nosy. He's very controlling. So I knew he'd have the code. And I just wanted to see who she talked to last or who she texted last. I just wanted to hurry up and find my daughter before dumb shit happened. You know?
Yeah.
Can I ask a couple questions?
I still can't wrap my head around the fact that mom is talking about, like, if she dated Richard, knows him so well, I can't I would never be okay with my child being with the man that I've been with before. Is that like weird for me to say that? I mean, I don't know. Like, I would not be okay. Thank you so much, Veronica. The email's up here. I would not be okay with my child being with a man that I've been with before, let alone have a baby with this person. Especially if he had raped, other people. All right, so I just want to make sure I'm not the only one. Because there's like this sickness that I'm even feeling here. And I'm like, you are so nonchalant about this girl. Like, it's okay. Like, y'all just had Thanksgiving together or whatever. So weird.
Sure.
So I asked Kimmy this morning, and Kimmy told me that she went over to the house alone to go get that third phone the first phone from Rich. Why did Kimmy go alone?
Okay.
I'm sorry?
I couldn't.
This is another person asking questions. And she says, I just want to make sure I understand. She says, hold up. At 56, I want to go back because it's another voice. It's not Courtney and it's not Kimmy. So there was a male voice, and that's Chef Talk, and then there's another person that chimes in.
Can I ask a couple questions?
Sure.
Okay.
So I asked Kimmy this morning, and Kimmy told me that she went over to the house alone to go get that the first phone from Rich. Why did Kimmy
And
go
mom was like,
alone? I'm sorry?
I couldn't tell you that, but then she said that she took her boyfriend's dad with her.
Okay, so she told me that she went alone to Rich's house to go get the phone. She also told me that she hooked it up to a computer and tried to backlog it, but she crashed her computer, in which the police don't have that computer either. And then she told me that whenever she went to the police station, her boyfriend and I believe her boyfriend's father, grandfather, went with her to go bring the phone to the police station.
I don't know who was.
But you told me that Kimmy, your story is different as far as the phone went. You told me that Kimmy went that morning with her boyfriend to Rich's house, and Kimmy said she went that night.
No, Kimmy told me she went that night. Or no, she told me she went the next morning to get that phone.
I'm saying that night as in Tuesday night.
No, she told me she went on Wednesday. She said that she went and got the phone. She didn't say Tuesday.
What reason would Kimmy have to discard of her sister?
Oh, motive.
I don't know.
Have they always had a good relationship, or has it been volatile at times?
She don't say volatile.
It's been volatile at
No.
times.
Courtney. I knew she was going to say that. Why? I got to deflect. She's been saying that. She's been saying that about Richard. She's been saying that about Kimmy. She's been saying about she has to deflect. She has to put the blame on. It's always been volatile. Why did I know that was going to be the answer? This is like a movie plot I've seen before, y'all. I'm sorry. Like, we've seen this before.
But there's no reasonable theory as to why Kimmy would not want her to be on the earth anymore, especially a newborn baby, right?
I don't think the baby's okay, guys. I think that they have charged with causing a miscarriage and stillborn. Now, they have not said whether they found the baby, but they said that they cut this baby off out of her. So I don't know if that means that they found the baby or what exactly. It's unclear to me at this point of the whereabouts of this baby, because if you listen to the court hearing, you hear the DA give the details, and it's horrific. They don't say whether the baby survived or not. They said stillborn or miscarriage, which leads me to believe that this baby probably did not survive.
Correct. But if you want to know something like that, you're going to have to ask Kimmy. I don't know.
I'm dumbfounded, y'all. We got, I guess the public is a little bit shaky right now because it seemed like you and Kimmy were a team, and now you're turning against one another. Are you concerned?
My biggest thing is,
so Kimmy, again, was charged with lying to police and fraudulent whatever, right? All those charges, felony level. And now they are turning against each other? Do they both know what happened? Do they both know what's going on?
you don't lie. This is freaking serious. Like, we need to find your sister and you're out here lying. Like, that pisses me off as a mother. You know, you don't lie. You just don't lie when it comes to this stuff. I need her to be truthful so that we can actually find out where her sister is. And she wants to sit here and lie about everybody. That I'm threatening her. I've never threatened her. And I'm not going to. She just doesn't get it. Like, lying is okay. And it's not. It's not helping. It's not helping find my daughter.
Hey, Courtney. So it's my understanding that you went to go pick up Rebecca between 6:30 and 7. Correct?
Yes. Yes.
And you are saying that Rebecca didn't leave with this vehicle till 8:30, correct?
It was about 8:30, yes.
So what were you guys doing in that time?
We were sitting in my driveway talking. We were planning a baby shower because she wanted it perfect. And I told her that I didn't know who she'd all want to come, so she's going to have to do that. And she started naming off friends that she wanted to come. I told her, I said, this isn't no rug friends, right? And she's like, no, Mom, this has nothing to do with that. I said, okay, you know, cool. I don't really want her around people like that, you know. As a mom, I'm supposed to worry about her. But like, she was naming off names and she was all happy-go-lucky. So when she got out of my car and opened the door and said that she was coming back, I believed her. Like, that Saturday, I didn't take any of the baby stuff out because I was hoping that she'd show up. Like, I was praying that she would show up. And that didn't happen.
In your opinion, Courtney, would you ever imagine that? Because you said you didn't see who was in that black car, correct?
Correct.
So would you ever believe that it could have potentially been Richie?
It could have. I didn't see who was in the car. It was pitch black.
Oh, okay. Again, Richie, the fiance, the alleged father of Rebecca, excuse me, the baby that Rebecca was expecting. He is the alleged father, again, a registered SO with clearly some questionable grooming tendencies of younger children. And so then the TikToker asked her, is it possible that it could have been him that might have taken her? So again, maybe given other opportunities to say something different. I don't know, but let's keep going.
Wasn't going to get out to see who was in the car because she would have blew up at me. I didn't want that.
Courtney's like, I didn't want to, see who was in the car. She would have blew up at me. Okay.
Yeah.
Who is Chrissy?
I don't know.
Because I just was in another panel and I asked Kimberly where she was the night she went to get the phone. And she said she took Richie to an apartment complex the night she went to get the first phone, to a lady named Chrissy, who is a friend of a friend.
All these characters.
Right?
Me too. Hold on a minute. Hold on.
Paige lives in an apartment complex.
Chrissy has entered the chat.
She said to me,
No,
I'm
she
over
hasn't,
in
she
text
hasn't.
live and Kimberly's in a box. And I said, where was you the night you went to get Rich's phone? She said, blind guy was with her.
Who's Christy? I don't know this person. Who's Christy? I hope they explain it. I really do hope they explain it. But it's like different characters coming in.
When they went to get the phone, and that Rich had asked for a ride to an apartment complex to a young lady named Chrissy. And Chrissy is a friend of a friend. And then he said he wanted to go to sleep. So I'm a little confused on who's Chrissy and where that apartment complex, if you would have known about a Chrissy in an apartment complex. She said it was downtown. So
Brad,
I
I just asked Brad if he
downtown
knew what
where?
Chrissy was.
let me get clarification. Hold on. I'm in
Is it
another
downtown
document
Manson?
here. I think so.
Oh my God.
Hold on. Let me ask real quick.
Paige lives next to a restaurant named the North Side in Manton.
In downtown
So-
Manton. Or close to it.
Right. But there's other apartment complexes. There's like, how many is there? There's like 2 or 3 other ones there.
So
Why?
just
Why would he go there? Why?
Hold on.
You already know.
Pause.
You already know, girlfriend. You already know.
I can't even process. Is he that addicted to it?
She just confirmed that it was
Yeah.
downtown Manton.
Okay, but there is
Yes.
the one,
Pages and
and then another one, and then there's one that you got to kind of go on the back skirts of Manton, and then there's those ones.
Mm-mm.
So was it Paige's apartment complex, or was it on the other side of Paige's complex?
Okay, so there's Paige and there's Christy, and I believe these are people that are just friends or friends. Okay, and so they were helping with the search and whatnot. That's what I'm getting at. Not necessarily people directly related to the case. Okay, yeah. I mean, there's other people that have been talking that are in that area that are doing interviews and whatnot. So that's why I think it's getting a little bit convoluted. But let's keep watching.
Apartment complex, or was it down the road? Because those are the only ones that are on Main Street. I used to live in Manton, sorry, so I know.
We're just like, this is hard to process and keep up with.
My head hurts. Like my head is I've taken medicine. I've taken anxiety medicine. I've taken focus gummies because I need to focus more, and nothing's working. I think I'm about to explode, y'all. I might have a heart attack.
Literally, we ready for a 5150 at this point with all this confusion.
You are not the only one. Trust me.
So Courtney,
You're not
just
the
quickly here. So in an hour in almost an hour and a half sitting with Becca, right? Shortly after she disappeared and we still don't know where she is. I want to know more. How many times did her cell go off? Her cell phone go off?
Like 3-4 times, but she never looked at it. But when I went in the house to go get the tripods, and I told the detectives this too, when I got back in the car, she had her phone in her hand, and it looked like she deleted something and then shut her phone down. Like closed it so it was black. Like she didn't think I was going to see it, but I did see it.
But Courtney, I know it would be hard to see that your daughter had some involvement with the disappearance of your other daughter. However, don't you think that this is conversations for police and not a TikTok live?
Oh, this is what I'm saying. They're going to use all these, videos and interviews to literally talk about this. I don't know who the blind guy. There's a blind guy in this too. I don't know. But like literally, they're going to use all this, and they just charged this woman yesterday.
Everybody is believing what Kimberly is saying. So I want everybody to know that what she's saying is a lie. And according to the detective, I guess, according to her, she's not a suspect.
Should she be?
Steph, I have a question. I'm literally confused, y'all, because I've been listening with my own two good ears.
Here's another person, another TikToker who's like, I'm confused. We want to know who the blind guy is. We want to know who Paige is and who Chrissy is. Yeah, Dita. She reverse Uno that question, literally. And she didn't even answer it.
And I know what I heard. So when you asked her, y'all were sitting in the driveway, what did y'all talk about? She said, we didn't talk about anything. I tapped my nails on the steering wheel. Then when Chef asked her what they talked about, am I crazy? She then said they talked about the baby shower.
You got it mixed up.
Is it a
No,
different
you got
night?
it mixed up.
Tell me how I've got it mixed up.
Okay. When we sat in the driveway, we were talking about the baby shower and getting it perfect.
Ain't it the same night?
No, listen to me.
Okay,
When we
listen.
pulled out and sat across from my driveway is when we were waiting for the people to show up. And yes, it was the same night that I was tapping my nails on the steering wheel, just sitting there waiting.
Okay.
Don't get it mixed. Don't get it twisted.
It's not mixed. The point is, what did y'all talk about before your daughter went missing? Like, you are playing with these people at this point, Courtney. Like, y'all all had something to hide, and we're tired at this point.
Ooh.
We didn't say anything.
Ooh, I like her. You guys got something to hide, and you're playing with the internet right now.
When we were sitting there waiting, I didn't say anything. I didn't want to piss her off. I didn't want to make her mad at me. So I just sat there quietly because I knew if I would have said something to her, she would have went off on me. I just didn't want that. I don't want conflict with my children.
Okay, you just said while we were waiting on these people. So more than one person?
The car. I don't know if there was more than one. I don't know if it was a guy. I don't know if it was a girl. I'm assuming it was a guy. And I'm assuming there might have been people in there. I don't know for sure. I didn't get out of the car because I knew it would piss her off. My daughter is 22 years old. I mean, she's an adult. She can do what she wants.
I just got confirmation that Chrissy is Sheila's friend, which Sheila is a regular.
Chrissy is Sheila's friend. Who's Sheila? Sheila is a regular. What does that mean? Sheila is a rug dealer. Rug dealer. Sheila's a rug dealer and Chrissy's her friend. There you go.
Oh boy.
We have 255,000 likes. Insane. You guys are doing an amazing job. Tapping is clapping. Make sure you follow me if you're in this room. Just tap it. It's free to do. Today's live goal is 10. Corgi. We have 6 of the 10. It goes to support the platform and what we do here. What is the longest amount of time, Courtney, that has went between that you and Rebecca have not spoken? Is this the longest amount of time?
No, when she first got with Rich, because I didn't approve of it, and there's reasons, and everybody would know why. She didn't speak to me for like 3 or 4 months because she was so pissed off at me. But some way or another, I've always talked to my children.
You got a Band-Aid?
Uh-oh. Nana didn't know she clicked to come up here. Sometimes we catch people in the moment. The join button is so close to the like button, it gets mixed up sometimes. Hey, Duke's mom, I see you. Thank you for being in here. You are seemingly, embracing all of the doubts.
Yeah.
Now, when I come in here,
she's literally making herself, Courtney, at least at this interview, made herself like the center of all this crazy work. Wanted to correct the record, wanted to make sure that she put out there that her daughter's lying, or this is not making sense, or something, or think of this, and then ultimately she's the one that gets charged with this.
Said that I believe that you may have had something to do with this, just based on the evidence that I've heard so far. But I do have to also bring up that we do not see Rich talking and trying to defend his own honor. I think.
Wait, she believes that she had something to do with this. Hold up. She says, now, when I come here, I said I believe that you may have something to do with this based on the evidence that I found so far. Oh, shit. Okay, hold up.
Now, when I come in here, I said that I believe that you may have had something to do with this, just based on the evidence that I've heard so far. But I do have to also bring up that we do not see Rich talking and trying to defend his own honor. I think it's because he is ashamed that he has gotten caught on less honorable things, if you know what I mean. Do you find it odd that he is not on platforms talking, or is he following the police's instructions not to be doing such a thing?
He's probably out doing rugs. That's why he's not on here. But I have to go. I got to make dinner for my son.
I understand. Thank you, Courtney, for your time, for continuing to answer our questions and being patient with us. The world is watching and praying for your daughter and her unborn child to come home safely. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Guys, I've got 3% on this particular phone right here. So let's take a break. I'm going to go charge my phone. I'm going to plan to be live later if I can. It's been a crazy day. If you don't see me live later, I'm going to be live in the morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you're following me if you are not right now, so you can find your way back. Thank you to my panel, to Crime Nicole.
Thank you.
Chef. Thank you, kind sir. Much respect.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there because it does end there. Now, for those that are like, I'm so confused by this case. Again, this is what dropped yesterday. I'm going to see if there's any recent or any, I don't think there's any follow-up. I literally think she did like a 2-part interview and that was it on that TikTok. But listen, this is the case that we're talking about right here. This is very graphic, okay? Just so people are aware. Trigger warning.
Family members of Rebecca Park are now charged with her death.
And those charges giving us a glimpse of what investigators say happened to the 22-year-old and her baby.
Rebecca's biological mother and stepfather, Courtney and Bradley Bartholomew, in court today on 8 charges each.
Now, we are warning you, the details of this case are very difficult to hear. Up North Live's Tony Lundy joins us live from the Wexford County Courthouse, where the couple was charged with the murder of Rebecca and her baby. Tony, what was the atmosphere like inside that courtroom today?
Well, Melissa and Mark, the courtroom was packed with family, friends, and others from the community, all hopeful to find answers on this month-long case. But many left that courtroom today heartbroken.
The graphic details laid out by the prosecuting attorney describing what investigators say led to the death of Rebecca Park and her baby. The accused, Rebecca's biological mom, Courtney Bartholomew, and stepdad, Brad Bartholomew.
They brought Rebecca Park to their home. They forced her into a vehicle and took her into the woods where they stabbed her, forced her to lie on the ground while they cut her baby out of her, ultimately causing her death and the death of the baby.
The courtroom was filled with the same people who desperately searched for Rebecca after she was reported missing 1 month ago. And now, hearing the details that led to her death left many visibly distraught. the prosecutor asking the judge to leave no room for leniency.
This is as heinous and as awful a case as it could be. And I don't believe there are any circumstances in which Mr. Bartholomew should be granted any bond.
The judge did agree, ordering both Courtney and Bradley Bartholomew to continue being held without bond and are ordered to not have communication with one another from the jails. Live in Wexford County, Tony Lundy, Up North Live News.
That's what happened. Now, here's some other images. Courtney Bartholomew is yelled at by judge at arraignment.
6B1, which allows the court to deny pretrial release to a defendant charged with murder. She is charged with murder. She's also charged with felony murder and 6 other counts, as the court read. I hate to repeat it, but to create a record in this case as well, I think no bond or being held without bond is appropriate. Again, this is a case of premeditated torture and murder. These two individuals created a plan, conducted research. Ms. Bartholomew brought Rebecca to their home. They forced her into another vehicle and took her into the woods, where they stabbed her, forced her to lie on the ground while they cut her baby out, and ultimately caused her death and the death of the baby. They then left Rebecca in the woods. This is frankly evil personified, and I would ask the court to hold her without bond.
The court does find, based on what's been presented to it today, the probable cause affidavit I've read and various search warrants I've read, the defendant is both a flight risk and a threat to the community, therefore she will be held without bond. I am going to order.
Your Honor, I have a
No. I'm also going to order that the defendant not have any contact with Bradley Bartholomew, and I'm going to sua sponte go back and add that requirement to his bond conditions as well. Counsel, anything for the record?
No, sir, thank you.
No, Your Honor. Thank you. All right, thank you, Wexford. I will.
Girl.
On the next cases to allow the courtroom to empty out. If they so choose.
Literally, she can't help it. She cannot help herself but to jump out and say stuff. She needs to say stuff. She can't help it. Go figure why she's on these TikTok lives, and all of that is gonna not go very well for her. All of that. Literally, I'm just in shock, man. These people are ridiculous, you know? Listen, we covered a lot today. Almost live 2 hours, y'all. We covered a lot today. I really do appreciate everybody. Shout out to everybody that supported the channel today. Oh my goodness. Yeah. That was the Rebecca K. Park case is just insane. It really is. You cannot make this up. Yes, can we get more likes, please? And thank you. Make sure you guys are hyping that video. Guys, I'm going to let you guys go because I got to go tend to baby bunny and do other things. But I will see you guys on the next one. I'm working on my Diddy review. Hopefully it'll be released tonight on this documentary and kind of my thoughts on the matter. But I will see you guys on the next one, and take care. Thank you guys for those that supported. You guys have a great one. Bye, guys. Bye, bye, bye.